Good afternoon and welcome to TVM News. Today is Friday, November 11th. I'm Ellen Franz.
And I'm Emma Rushworth. This week we have news about the midterm election results.
We also have news about Tropical Storm Nicole.
And we'll check in with TVM sports anchors Kyle Driscoll and John Downey to find out the latest in Marywood and professional sports. An old tradition is back at Marywood this weekend. For the first time in several years, the music, theater, and dance department is putting on an opera. The Magic Flute, composed by Mozart, is being run Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. Marywood students Sarah Owensworth, Gabe Janosowski, and Sean Wolf star in the production. Admission is free to the opera and open to the public.
Marywood is hosting their final open house on November 12th. Students are able to tour the school, meet with faculty, and attend an activities fair.
An LGBTQIA+ workshop was held today on campus. The workshop, hosted by the Office of Institutional Equity and Inclusion, Housing and Residence Life, and Student Engagement, was marketed as a way for those unfamiliar to learn more about the queer community and how to become a better ally. The featured speaker at the workshop was Amanda Slichter, who serves as a consultant on Marywood's Social Justice Committee.
The Office of Military and Veteran Services and the Student Veteran Alliance hosted Flags for the Fallen on Thursday. The event honored service members, past and present, in the memorial field filled with flags. The event featured performances of the national anthem and taps by students and concluded with free food and beverages.
Philanthropy and Advocacy Days are next week. The annual traditions return to campus in time for a season of thankfulness and giving. Philanthropy Day is next Tuesday the 15th. It highlights the generous contributions by donors to Marywood. Green ribbons are hung around campus to signify what aspects of campus wouldn't be possible without philanthropy. Advocacy Day is Wednesday the 16th. Its focus is more on celebrating the advocacy work being done by the Marywood community. Events will be announced as the dates approach.
This past Wednesday, Marywood Activities hosted a pizza appreciation night in the Fireplace Lounge. They had different pizzas from all of the local pizza places available for tasting. Students were able to vote for their favorite for a chance to win a gift card to the pizza place that got the most votes. When we come back, we'll tell you about the results of the midterm election, but first we'll check in with Maddie for the weather.
Thanks, ladies, and welcome back to your weekly weather report. Well, as I'm sure you can tell already, we are inside today, and that is because we're looking at a 100% chance of rain today. Now, it hasn't started yet, but it's going to be probably soon. We're filming this on Friday morning, and I'm sure by the time you're seeing this, it will be raining. The high today is 67, so again, that's unprecedented for November. That's fairly warm, and the low is 60. Again, fairly warm for November, but it is supposed to rain all day. We're looking at potential for heavy rainfall and heavy winds as well, so be sure to keep an eye out for that and stay safe. Tomorrow the high is 62, which again is gorgeous for November, but the low is 38, so that's a little bit chilly. You know, we're starting to see more typical November temperatures. 40% chance of a rain tomorrow morning. It will or it won't. It depends on if the rain carries over from tonight into tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. On Sunday, the high is 45 and the low is 29. That's right, 29. It's definitely getting cooler and getting to feel more like typical November temperatures. Monday, similarly, the high is 45 and the low is 27. On Tuesday, the high is 44 and the low is 35. And on Wednesday, get this coming Wednesday, the high is 45 and the low is 30. There is a 60% chance of precipitation. And I didn't say rain there. I said precipitation. It could go either way. It could be rain or it could be that little white flaky stuff, snow. There is a potential for a little bit of snow on Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. On Thursday, our high is 41, the low is 24, and next Friday, the high is 42, and the low is 25. So next weekend, we're looking at the coolest weekend yet this fall. Definitely starting to feel like November, and we're already getting hints of, again, the white stuff. Be sure to be safe out there in that rain today. Don't travel if you don't have to in places that typically flood, and just be safe, exhibit caution. Don't forget your jackets later this week because 40s are cold. It doesn't sound that cold, but it is cold, and 20s are certainly very, very cold. It's starting to feel like November, starting to feel like Christmas break is not too far away, and the weather is definitely showing that. So Be safe out there, bundle up, and we'll be right back after these short messages.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
The 2022 midterm election results are in. In the hotly contested Senate race, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman beat Dr. Mehmet Oz to replace outgoing Senator Pat Toomey. In the gubernatorial race, Attorney General Josh Shapiro beat State Senator Doug Mastriano, becoming the state's first Jewish governor. Incoming Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis will be the state's first black lieutenant governor. In the race for Pennsylvania's 8th House District, incumbent Matt Cartwright is likely to be reelected, once again defeating lobbyist Jim Bognett.
4 people were dead after a shooting on Saturday morning in Lycoming County. State troopers say 54-year-old Brian Taylor shot and killed his wife, Linda Taylor, sister Andrea Meek, and friend Jerry Zering. Taylor also shot at numerous homes and cars passing on Route 239. Taylor was then shot and killed by police.
A Wayne County man hid in a treehouse to avoid police. On November 2nd, police were called to a home in Salem Township for a domestic disturbance. 41-year-old David Skorek of Moscow allegedly leapt from the roof of the home and ran into a treehouse in the backyard to evade arrest. State police have filed charges against Skorek.
As we all turned back our clocks on Saturday night, one business in Luzerne County turned back 3,000. At Ye Old Clock and Gift Shop in Dallas, it takes 4 people and 3 extra days to turn all the clocks back an hour when daylight savings rolls around. This is also the shop's busiest time of year, as they are flooded with calls from people asking how to turn their clocks back.
State police arrested a man in Carbon County after a high-speed chase. Troopers arrived on the scene of a domestic disturbance call in Northampton Borough last Friday around 7 p.m. Richie Jacoby allegedly fled the police with police in pursuit. After being apprehended, police claimed Jacoby was under the influence of alcohol. Police also found outstanding warrants for extradition for Jacoby. He is currently being held in the Carbon County Correctional Facility awaiting a preliminary hearing.
A new Veterans Memorial Park has opened in Oliphant. As of Saturday, the 21st Century Desert Soldier statue is on display in Oliphant Borough Freedom Fighter Veterans Memorial Park. This project has been long in the works, having first been brought up on September 11, 2017.
A paper ballot shortage prompted a request to extend voting hours in Luzerne County. While state law requires polls to close at 8 p.m. on Election Day, polls in Luzerne County stayed open until 10 p.m. The petition was granted by Judge Lisa Gelb. Both Republicans and Democrats stood in court to ask for the extended voting time after voting machine issues and a paper shortage created issues for some voters.
A holiday blow mold auction was held in Lackawanna County on Sunday at the Jones Auction House. Nearly 2,000 pieces were auctioned off, with some costing over $4,000. People traveled from all across the country to participate. When we come back, we'll tell you about Tropical Storm Nicole.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Tropical Storm Nicole has officially become a hurricane. On Wednesday morning, the storm picked up speed and became 4 miles an hour, less than the required speed for the hurricane. The storm has become a hurricane and was now the 3rd hurricane in the Atlantic this month.
A hurricane warning has been issued for parts of Florida as Hurricane Nicole is expected to make landfall. Nicole was expected to hit southeast Florida Wednesday into Thursday. The hurricane hit Florida just 2 months after Hurricane Ian battered the west coast of Florida.
9 people were killed after a shooting in Philadelphia on Saturday night. Shooting happened around 10:45 p.m. when a group of people got out of a car and opened fire at a group of people waiting outside of a bar. The group that got back into their car and fled from the scene. It is unknown who the shooters were, but at least 40 pieces of evidence were left at the scene.
A New York City man has been charged in the death of his girlfriend, whose body was found dismembered in suitcases in her apartment. Prosecutors allege that 24-year-old Justin Williams murdered his girlfriend, 22-year-old Deasia Johnson, in her eastern New York apartment. Williams then lived in the apartment for 2 months after the murder. Prosecutors charged Williams with second-degree murder and concealment of a corpse, which carry a maximum of 25 years in prison if he's convicted. No motive was given for the murder.
At least 38 people were injured in a blaze in a high-rise building in Manhattan. Crews were called to the scene around 10:30 on Saturday morning after a lithium-ion battery caused the fire to start. Out of the 38 people injured, 2 were in critical condition and 5 were rescue crew members. They were all taken to the hospital.
Officers in Colorado have been charged after allowing a train to hit their patrol car with a handcuffed woman in the back seat. After being pulled over and arrested for an alleged road rage incident, 21-year-old Irene Rios Gonzalez was handcuffed and left in the backseat of a patrol car that was parked on train tracks in Platteville, Colorado on September 16th. Pablo Vasquez of the Platteville Police Department was charged with 5 counts of reckless endangerment and 2 traffic infractions. Jordan Steinke of the Fort Lupton Police Department was charged with 1 criminal count of attempted manslaughter, 1 count of reckless endangerment, and 1 count of second-degree assault.
Police in California have announced that the remains found last week were those of Alexis Gabe, who had been missing since January. Part of the remains were found 41 miles east of Sacramento, and it is believed that the other remains are scattered and most likely not to be found. There are no suspects yet, however, police are very suspicious of her ex-boyfriend.
Parties at fraternities at Cornell University have been suspended after multiple allegations of drug use and sexual assault. 1 student reported being sexually assaulted at an off-campus fraternity house, and 4 students reported being drugged. No specific fraternities or suspects were identified, but the Interfraternity Council for the school voluntarily suspended parties until further notice after a meeting regarding the allegations. When we come back, we'll check in with TVM sports anchors Kyle Driscoll and John Downey for the latest in Marywood and professional sports.
Luke! 911, where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened? Your friend's not breathing. She's dead? Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
Okay, here we go.
3, 2.
3, 2, 1.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
So when we start talking about COVID, I completely get it. It's frustrating.
We've all been impacted one way or another.
The fight against COVID is also changing really quickly.
And it's sometimes really hard to keep up.
So here are a few things we know.
We are not fighting the same virus from 2020.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before, it's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID vaccines are safe.
Much safer than getting COVID-19.
We all want this to end sooner than later.
So go ahead and do things.
Go out and live your life, but get vaccinated. Stay boosted.
We can all do our part.
And get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
Well, John, the big news at Marywood this week is the women's soccer team moving on to the championships.
That's pretty impressive. Why don't you tell me more?
Sure. Last Saturday, Marywood's women's soccer team nabbed their 4th consecutive Atlantic East Conference Soccer Championship. The Pacers shut out Marywood-University 1-0. The game-winning goal was scored by freshman Caroline Walters. Kate Collardy was named MVP for generating offensive opportunities. The conference win means Marywood is moving on to the NCAA Division III National Championship tomorrow, where they take on Misericordia University in Dallas. It's been a slow start of the season for Marywood's swimming and diving team. The Pacers opened their regular Atlantic East Conference season with losses to Cedar Crest College and Marymount-University. The sole victory for Marywood was Jason Lee winning the 50-yard breaststroke. Tomorrow, both teams have their senior day with a match against Immaculata University. Well, that's all for Marywood sports. How are things on the professional front, John?
Did you hear about the new #1 team in the country in college football?
I did not.
Oh, I'll tell you about it. The college football playoff rankings came out Tuesday night, and with Tennessee going down last week in Athens against Georgia, we have a new #1 team in the country, and they are the Georgia Bulldogs. Ohio State remains at #2, and Michigan and TCU are the newcomers at 3 and 4 respectively. Tennessee, Oregon, LSU, USC, and UCLA still have a shot at the 4-team playoff, but we'll need some help to move up. There are 4 weeks left of the season, and then we will see how everything shakes out. Moving over to the MLB, we have a new World Series champion, and they are the Houston Astros. The Astros defeated the Phillies in 6 games and won their 2nd World Series in 6 years. The Astros look like the top team in the league this year, and they continue to roll in the World Series. Their outlook for next year looks great as well, with most of their key players under contract and a few others returning from injury. The parade was hosted Monday in Houston, and they had a nice celebration to what many believe is their first real championship after 2017 was tainted with the cheating scandal. Sliding over to the NFL now, and a big story has been the success the New York Jets and Seattle Seahawks are having this year. Both teams are 6-3 through 9 weeks and in playoff position. A big part of that has been the stud rookies that both of these teams have been putting on the field each and every Sunday. Starting with the Jets, they had 3 first-round picks and a high second-rounder. And these 4 players, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Breece Hall, have played phenomenal so far. Gardner is the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year and has been a top 5 cornerback so far this year. The Seahawks are getting outstanding production from their first 6 players picked across 5 rounds. Charles Cross, Boye Mafe, Kenneth Walker, Abe Lucas, Kobe Bryant, and Tariq Woolen have been the driving force behind the Seahawks' success. Cross and Lucas, as starting offensive tackles, have been able to protect QB Geno Smith very well. When we look back 10 years from now, we will see that this was the cornerstone draft for each of these teams. That's all for sports. We'll be back after these messages.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Endangered frogs made a major comeback after 422 ponds were built in Switzerland. The biggest rebound was seen among European tree frogs, whose numbers have quadrupled since 1999. The ponds were developed to replace those that had been destroyed as Switzerland's highway system expanded, and to create new habitats for the frogs to avoid predators. Populations of the frogs have increased, as well as the number of areas that different species can be found.
I love frogs.
Man, I love frogs.
Frogs are fun. They're fun.
They're great.
Little guys. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's edition of TVM-News. From everyone here at TV-Marywood, thanks for tuning in.
Be sure to follow TV-Marywood's YouTube page and like the TVM Facebook page to stay up to date on the latest happenings and to watch additional content. I'm Emma Rushworth.
And I'm Ellen Franz. Happy Veterans Day, everyone.
And thank you to all who have served.